Hello and welcome to Acoustic Review. My name is Ben Morgan Brown and today I'm looking at the D37 from Atkin guitars. 2020 is the 25th anniversary of Atkin guitars, a company that has grown from a one-man operation building a handful of one-of-a-kind instruments into the current workshop employing a small team building around 350 guitars a year and still maintaining the hand-built ethos. The D37 is Atkin's take on the classic pre-war dreadnought and features a torrefied solid Sitka spruce top with torrefied European redwood bracing in a pre-war scalloped X pattern, solid Indian rosewood back and sides, a mahogany neck with an ebony fingerboard, a 1 11/16 bone nut and a 25.4 inch scale length, an ultra-thin aged nitrocellulose finish, and vintage appointments including ivory binding, herringbone purfling and a hand-beveled pickguard. The guitar ships in an Atkin branded TKL case and it has an RRP of £3,099. So let's have another listen to the guitar now and then join me afterwards for my thoughts. The first thing that hit me with this guitar was the colour of the baked Sitka top. It's a beautiful golden honey hue and combined with the celluloid tortoise pickguard and herringbone purfling, it makes for a really classy and classic looking guitar. The next thing I noticed is that although the guitar is described as aged, it's not relict as such. The ageing is very subtle, mainly some lacquer checking on the neck and the headstock, a slight rounding off around the binding, and a yellow tinge to the lacquer that is particularly noticeable on the rosewood back and sides, which are a really deep, gorgeous chocolatey brown. The lacquer is noticeably thinner than on many other guitars. You can feel where it's sunk into the grain of the wood already, and I imagine it will develop a really nice patina as the guitar ages. I'm sure there's many that will take umbrage at their age description, and I can understand that to an extent. The fear is that the guitar will look and feel like a pretend vintage guitar, or that it is fake in some way. I'm glad that Atkin have gone the subtle route with the aging, and I'm not sure how I'd feel if the guitar had arrived with dings and scratches all over it. I'm sure Alistair would argue that the very thin nature of this finish adds something to the tone, and the guitar certainly feels very lively, but if you like your guitars super shiny and glossy, then there is also a mirror finish option, but personally, I really like the tactile nature of this finish. The build quality is excellent, with great woodworking evident both outside and inside the body, and I actually enjoyed having a good look inside with an inspection mirror and admiring the scalloping on the braces and the obvious care and attention to detail that has gone into this guitar. Even the herringbone purfling lines up perfectly, which is not always the case, even on guitars that are much more expensive. Playing my first chord, I was hit by a big, bold, powerful sound. Deep lows, crystalline highs, and balanced but still present mids. everything you could ask for in a classic vintage voiced guitar. There's some degree of piano-like separation where you can hear each string within the chord, but there's also a togetherness to the sound where a chord becomes not a collection of notes but combines as one sound too. It was really satisfying to run through all the first position open chords and enjoy the punch and different tones that palm muting or changing picking position would bring. I'm not that much of a flat picker, but hitting little bass runs and accenting melody lines was really fun on this guitar. It's just got that tone in spades. Switching to finger picking, I was surprised by how responsive the guitar was to a lighter touch. You don't get the huge bass response of harder playing, but my thumb pick and nail style worked well for some country blues and open tuning John Fahey style pieces. In fact, I think the most fun I had with this guitar was tuning it to open C and letting that bass fill out the sound whilst I picked the melody on the top strings. It was an addictive sound and really opened my eyes as to how a dreadnought might work with my own style, something I've never really considered before. As shipped, the action is medium-low with a little space to go down if you wanted, and the 12 to 53 gauge strings play easily with enough tension to drive the top and still work in dropped tunings. The neck with its rounded fingerboard edges, perfect fretwork and smooth feeling aged finish feels great in the hand, like a guitar that's already been played in, and the profile is a full vintage inspired C-stroke D shape that was really comfortable to play. The 1 11/16 nut width, although traditional on this style of guitar, is slightly narrower than I normally play, but I didn't have too much trouble adapting to it, and I'm sure many players would feel right at home on this guitar. I think anybody looking for a classic American voiced vintage style dreadnought is going to enjoy this guitar immensely. From the look to the tone and feel, if you like that vintage vibe, this is a very satisfying guitar on all levels. And at £3,099 it's very competitively priced against its American-built cousins, especially when you consider the hand-built environment in which it is made, which allows for each guitar to be treated as an individual instrument rather than just a product on a factory line. Although the steel string guitar as we know it today is truly an American icon, I think there's something fantastic and charming about a little workshop in the cathedral city of Canterbury, Kent, producing guitars that can give the big American brands a run for their money. I've been looking forward to getting my hands on one of Adister's guitars for a while, and the D37 certainly didn't disappoint. I think it's pretty obvious that I really like this guitar. It's got a great look, a lovely broken-in vibe, and its responsive and powerful tone has made me reconsider whether there's space for a dreadnought in my guitar collection, and, well, I really can't think of a better endorsement than that. I hope you've enjoyed this video from Acoustic Review. Please subscribe to keep up to date with new videos, and I look forward to seeing you next time.